reliability. I think, here in West Texas, we know that, just like when a bad hailstorm comes through, you don't want to get a fly-by-night, dent repair company to look at your car, your roof. We kind of took the same philosophy with the energy companies coming to town, and we wanted to make sure we found a partner that was established and reliable and had customer service to back it up. But more importantly, we wanted to leverage the weight of our numbers to our benefit. And so we began asking some of the more established companies, what that was worth to them and who would be willing to provide more value to our members. And Reliant Energy, at the end of the day, they checked all those boxes for us. They checked the boxes of an established player, not only in the Lubbock market, but across the state of Texas, which we do have a lot of members who may have started in Lubbock, but now live in Dallas, started in Lubbock, now live in San Antonio, Houston, throughout the state. And so Reliant checked that box for us from a reliability standpoint and from a customer service standpoint and from a long time in the industry. But then most importantly, they came to the table with the strongest offer to our members in the form of this 10% discount on your electricity rate. So if you do choose to sign up with Reliant Energy, being a member of the credit union affords you a 10% discount off your electricity rate as long as you're a customer in good standing with Reliant, and as long as you're a member with Alliance Credit Union. So very proud to bring that to you guys, very proud to bring that offering. I think it's a very strong offering, and I think it's just one more way that being a member of Lubbock's largest credit union affords you guys additional benefits. So very happy about that, and again, proud to be partnering with Reliant Energy. Thank you guys for coming to speak with us today. They're going to walk us through deregulation, kind of what it means, kind of the basic overview, and then I think a lot of you guys have a lot of questions that you'd like answered, and so we're going to hopefully give us enough time for all of the Q&A, both for the online folks and for everyone here in this room. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you guys.
Thank you. And you go, Anna.
All right.
So I have a quick survey. How many of you are a fan of this weather? Okay, we can't be friends. Just kidding. I am not a fan of this weather. This weather just makes me want to stay inside, but I wanted to come out and see all of you. Just some fun stuff about me. I am going through deregulation just like the rest of you. I'm a Lubbock resident of over 20 years without giving away too much on my age. But I came to Tech, never left, worked for Tech for a long time, and I actually knew Matt through Texas Tech. So anyway, I worked there for a number of years, and then Reliant had an opportunity for a community position. Someone that would go out into the community and educate people on what choice was. We came in 2017 and joined the chamber, was the first thing we did, and then we slowly started partnering with different charities, getting to know them, and finding ways that we could give back to Lubbock before we ever asked for any of your business. That's important for you to know that Reliant, that's really part of our DNA, making sure that we're a positive force where we live and where we work. And as you see people coming from other electricity companies into town, they will do some community impact, and that will benefit our community. I'm like, the more that want to help our community, great. But something to pay attention to is that will not change with Reliant. If you look at our footprint in every market that we've been in, we hang out, we stay in the community. We've done things like 4th on Broadway. How many of you go out to 4th on Broadway every year or have been? Right, so we have been major sponsors of that for the past 2 years. My husband is very tired of building floats, but that's his pastime now. He gets voluntold to do a lot of things. So you'll see me out in the community. You'll see us out there. Reliant will be places. We just did this huge thing with Habitat for Humanity, and we're going to continue to do those things. I wanted you to know kind of the heart of Reliant and who we are on the community side. But the reason I say all of that is because we're going to briefly, at a high level, describe to you what deregulation is. Is anybody interested in kind of knowing more about what deregulation really is and what it means and why we're doing all this? I know you've all been told we're going to do it, right? And you're like, we're what? Okay, that's kind of how I was. So I've gone through this with you. There's many stages to learning about deregulation, but today we're just going to give you a high overview. And thank you. Okay. So we're going to define it for you again at a high level. I guess this is a little dated. You can choose currently, but for a very long time, we had one electricity provider in our market, and that is called a regulated market. You don't have choice, so the way we term that is a regulated market. Before deregulation, we kind of have this infographic that will show you what it looks like. What I want to draw your attention to are the two icons in the middle. We know where power comes from. It's generated through a system of poles and wires, the grid. It gets to your homes. So if you look at your local utility, that has always been, well, not always, but it is Lubbock Power and Light. And what they would do is they would make sure that if you turned on your switch, if you plugged in your appliance, electricity flowed into your homes and your businesses. That's the hard wire, right? The hardwiring of it. That's the infrastructure, poles and wires. But they also did something else. They would go to market and buy electricity and then pass it through to you and sell it to you. So they not only provided you with the actual electricity to your home, they also charged you for it. So whatever rate they set was the rate that you paid. I think aside from average billing, that was all the luxury that we had. And so we were happy when we got that. I remember when we were like, yes, we'll just do average billing. So what happens, well, actually I like to, those of you that are much more visual learners, if you want to read a definition of it, this is a really good definition that explains it and summarizes it for you. But again, the gist of it is the utility company delivers power and handles billing. Is that pretty clear? LP&L did both those things. They provided electricity and then they charged you for it. Okay. So what happens after deregulation? Here in March, what's going to start happening? Okay. You're actually going to start getting billed by whoever you choose. Look at the two icons in the middle again, and notice that what doesn't change is who manages the poles and wires, who makes sure that your meters are turned on and off, who makes sure that the poles and the wires are doing their job of bringing you electricity to your homes. But notice that who charges you for that and who goes to market and buys the electricity and sells it to you changes. You have choice for the very first time in a very, very long time. And you have so much choice, you don't know what to do. You have so much choice, you're paralyzed. We get that. Hopefully we can make your choice a little easier, feel comfortable with choosing someone that Alliance feels comfortable choosing with, someone that has cared about the community for years and years before we could ever make profit, and will be here long after others leave. That is very important to us. And so when you get that bill, hopefully you choose, Reliant because you're getting that extra discount. But if you don't like Reliant, guess what? You can choose somebody else. For the first time, if you're not happy with somebody, how many of you like to switch phone companies every now and then? Your cell phones. Yeah, I'm all about who gives me the best deal. So hopefully that's what we can do for you. Again, this is just it written out for you. If you're a visual learner and you like to see it written out, essentially now you have more plans and more providers to choose from. Great, just a great scenario. This lets you look at what's changing, what do we have to look forward to. How many of you are kind of frozen when you hear the word plans? I tell people, it took me a long time to get over this whole thing about, we get to have different companies, and now we have to have plans. And so that can be overwhelming. But plans are there to be your friend. They help you pick a plan that works with your electricity usage habits. How many of you remember like cell phones, free nights and weekends and rollover minutes? I remember I was in college and I was at one school and my now husband, then boyfriend was at another school, and at 9 p.m., all right, I'm gonna call him, it's free, and then we'd stay up to like midnight and miss our 8 a.m. classes, right? So those are kind of the things that work for your lifestyle, your budget, things like that. You're going to have things like customer service. How many of you want to talk to a person when you call? Yes, and not have to wait. Yeah, that's everybody. Okay, awesome. We offer that. Yes, well, we offer 24/7 customer service, and you can rate us. If it's not a great experience, let us know. We answer to you. We also, if you don't want to talk to a person, you can do chat, live chat, not automated. You can talk to a person, your app, all those things. And then innovation. We offer innovation for those of you who want it, and for those of you who don't, that's fine. Right now we're in pre-sale. You get to go shopping till February 15th. If you do not choose by February 15th, the City of Lubbock will assign you to one of 3 providers, Octopus, TXU, or Reliant, equally. So if you have a neighbor who doesn't choose and you have another neighbor who doesn't choose, they could have 2 totally random different providers. It's not based on zip codes or neighborhoods or anything like that. As long as you have an LP&L meter, you will be randomly assigned. The important thing is that you can still change. So maybe your neighbor didn't choose and like, oh, I'm stuck with this company and it's a high rate. That's okay. They have till March 4th to go ahead and change that and change a plan. Whoever has you last on March 4th gets you, okay? So you can change without cancellation fees and all of those things till March 4th. And so that's just a PSA for you all. But we're definitely gonna make sure you're happy and that you stay with us. And then on March 5th, 6th, you'll start flowing. That's what they call it. You flow with your new provider. So that is when LP&L just stops charging you. They have sold you all the electricity they're ever gonna sell you. And they will no longer go to market, buy electricity for you, and sell it to you. They no longer are in the business of doing that. That will be your new provider, okay? So that's really all I have to say about deregulation. I'm gonna hand it over to my friend over here, Jamil, who looks way sharper than I do today. But he does a really, really good job, and he actually will help explain more of the bills and things like that to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so I know we know it's a lot, and we know that deregulation is new and it's scary now, but we promise that it'll be the norm soon, right? The basics of it is that now, instead of LP&L doing both things, they're split up, right? We kind of split it up between hardware and software. The hardware are the physical things, your meter on your house, the poles, the wires, those things, right? If something's wrong with that, LP&L does that. Everything else that comes with your billing, helping you select plans and figuring out what energy works for you, that's what we get to help with, right? And we're very good at what we do. We are the largest retail electric provider in the state. So we provide more power to more Texans than any other company that's out there. That's why we get to have the stability. We get to buy our energy in bulk to provide that power to you guys at reasonable rates. And now that you have competition here in Lubbock, all of these competitors that come in get to kind of break up the power of LP&L and kind of hold them accountable in certain ways as we kind of provide you guys some electricity. So my role is to kind of help you guys understand the transparency and the billing that comes along with it. Now, this is a map of all of Lubbock that has deregulated. The blue, which is the greater portion of it, means that that's where all the new smart meters have gone into that are connected to ERCOT, and you can choose, right? If you are outside of this blue area, you are in what, SLS?
South Plains Electric.
South Plains Electric, and then what is the pink? That's the where you,
Okay,
it's
so
either or?
that's the only area. I don't think I need this. I think you can all hear me. But the pink, the hot pink, my favorite color, by the way, if you ever want to buy me a gift, hot pink. That is the only area where there are South Plains electric meters and LP&L meters. You're the only ones who can kind of go co-op, or you can go full deregulation. Anyways, so just the hot pink areas, and then the gray areas, people always ask about that. At the time that this map was created, those were the parts that LP&L was going to build out meters. Sure. I'm not sure if they have since then, but I always get asked about the gray because I'm like, oh yeah, that's also LP&L.
Yeah. So now all the meters in the blue area and some of them in the pink area are now smart meters, right? We hear that in the past, a lot of homes had to have LP&L come out and kind of check the meter with a with binoculars and take a physical reading of it. Now it just reports directly into the grid, right? And you still have the ability to challenge it. If you think it's not right, you have us. You have customer service. You don't have to go to a building and fight with somebody or try to plead your case. Let us know. We do meter rereads all the time. We'll double check with LP&L to make sure that everything is correct. It's part of the customer service. So we are here first, we're just here to answer all questions and educate, right? However, one of our people that you could speak with that explains it, his name is Mr. Brandon Ellison. He comes from a specialized channel within Reliant Energy of concierge. So we aren't a call center. We are people that you can understand. We are physical people that you could call. You actually get Mr. Ellison's work cell phone. So if you need him for now, when you're enrolling now, and then later on when your contract expires years down the road or whatever and we need to renew, you can still reach this gentleman as well as a team of concierges that are assigned to you guys specifically at Alliance Credit Union to help you out, walk you through the process, answer your questions, right? There's going to be a lot of other electricity companies that are going to be competing for your business. That's great. That gives more power to you guys, right? You can choose. People want you to use them, right? We want you to use us. We have concierges that will take the time to answer your question. I promise you, every call center, every electricity company, including ours, they're timed, right? They want to get you enrolled and they want to get you off. Our concierge and Mr. Ellison does not work that way. So with this is a QR code that will take you to these 2 pages. And if you want to enroll, at the end of it, we'll put it back up. But what that is you can either view the plans on your own from this page. This is kind of what you'll see when you first scan it on this link. And you put your zip code in right there and it'll say view plans. If you feel comfortable with deregulation and you feel like you got it, you can sign up right there. If you have more questions and you want Brandon to break it down to you, answer any questions that you may not have had answered today, then you can put your information right here. This is a consent to contact form, and you can pick a time and kind of let us know, and we'll reach out to you and call you, and we'll see what we can do to earn your business and answer any questions that you may have.
I got a question.
Yes.
I want you to go back to your spreadsheet or your sign-up sheet.
Yep.
Down there where it says officer or agent, the very last one.
Uh-huh.
What do you put in there? I mean, who are you looking for to validate that we're members of the credit union?
That's great. So the office or agent is just Brandon. You can just put Brandon in there. But
in your instructions, it says they've got to be affiliated with the Alliance Credit Union.
Yeah, I tried it. I called in and she told me her name, put it in there, and I submitted it, and it never would go through. I'm already signed up with y'all, but that's why I'm here, because it wouldn't let me.
It wouldn't let you go
She
through.
told me to put, like Rebecca's her name, she told me to put her name in, I did, for the agent, and it wouldn't let, and you're talking to older people, we don't know how to work a computer.
no worries. So right there on office and agent, you should just be able to put in Brandon, okay? But Brandon Ellison. And then if you put in Brandon there and you can't proceed anymore, just give us a call, If you don't want to use the tech link, you don't want to use a QR code, we have humans for you. We have Brandon right here in the lobby sitting at this table. We're going to be hanging out all day to try to help out with that. We also have another rep on standby, right? So if Brandon's busy with somebody, we'll get you connected with Destiny. She's on standby just to catch the overflow, okay?
Yeah, and I'll just say real quick too, we're in the process of rolling out individual QR codes for all of our staff members. Alliance Credit Union has 177 folks on staff, and they're each going to have their own individual QR code. And it depends on how you get to this page. Basically, you're only going to get to this, but this is not out for the public, right? This isn't for just anybody on the street to scan. These are for Alliance members, so this is going to be in member-only publications. This is going to be in lobbies, that kind of thing. So as long as you get to this page, whatever QR code you got there from, or whether you got there from our website, which also has the link, you're going to get the 10%. You're going to get access to the 10% discount and the discounted rates or plans that you'll get access to. So you don't have to worry about not getting the credit for being a member. If you've made it to this page, you're getting that credit. On the individual QR codes for all of our employees, that agent block should automatically just fill in with their name, because we want, to make sure our employees are getting recognized when they help our members sign up and get a discount. So you'll see their name should show up in there. But if you don't see anything, you can put Brandon's name in there and you'll still get the discount.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Elson, it's ELLISON. That's the gentleman sitting right out here.
Yeah, he's actually out here.
Yeah, and the main reason we brought him is because he's our outskirt market specialist. So he's been through other markets that have gone from regulated to deregulated before. One of the most recent ones that's relatively close is Abilene, right? Abilene used to be a regulated market, and they've started to deregulate. Now, they didn't do it like Lubbock. Lubbock kind of did it all at once. They kind of broke it up and did it by sections of the city and kind of did it in smaller group. Lubbock is like, hey, let's rip the Band-Aid off and let's make it happen. So we're here for that.
Yeah, and I'll just add too, part of our working with Reliant to provide enhanced benefits for our membership, they gave us Brandon as our dedicated concierge. So he is not working any other customer groups. So when you call or when you email, however you get to Brandon, he's going to be an expert on this particular offering. And so you can be sure that he's going to probably be able to answer any questions you have. And he's going to know if you're reaching out to him and you got to this page, he's going to know you're an Alliance member, and he'll be able to probably help you better than anybody would.
That's the plan. Thank you.
And he's already been doing that all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're into it now. We're helping you guys out. But I also will leave this back up here during the Q&A or something, just in case you need to scan it or get to the link or have any questions about that. But one thing I wanted to show you guys, you haven't seen this yet. You won't see this until after your first billing cycle after May, right? So if you enroll with Reliant, and then right now we're still in the pre-sale period, right? January 5th to February 15th pre-sale period, right? What Anna was talking about you guys' energy actually flowing, that happens on whatever your meter read date is after March 5th, right? So your meter read date is whatever it was with LP&L, right? If every 15th of the month LP&L was supposed to read your meter and bill you for that, that's when you will flip over to Reliant, right? So if you have March 15th as your meter read date, you sign up now on March 15th, that's when you start getting billed by Reliant. Now, after a whole billing cycle, 30 or 31 days, depending on that, you will get your first bill from Reliant Energy or whichever electricity provider you choose. And that bill will look something very similar to this right here. We don't want anyone to be shocked about anything that they're seeing. We want you guys to be able to read and kind of comprehend what it is that you're being billed for, what your charges are, where you can see your discount from Alliance and all of that. So the first thing, we'll go to number one. This is just a bill snapshot and overview, right? And it'll tell you exactly the billing dates of this bill, where you're being billed from, the amount due, and then if for whatever reason it was like after that date, then that would be the amount due. But that's just the bill overview. Make sure that your account number's on there and everything is good. Number two, just your account information, right? Make sure your name and address and account number are the same, right? Make sure you didn't get anybody else's bill. We don't want that. And then number three is obviously all of our contact information. So if anything doesn't look right in section 1 or 2, call those numbers right there. Call Brandon. Call me. Call anybody with Reliant. We are here to bring that personal touch, right? Number 4 is your electricity usage, right? So you can see your usage history. As we go forward with deregulation and you stay with Reliant year over year, you'll get to see your past year's data in comparison. And like kind of where your kilowatt hour usage is and where it's been charging, right? So that's really good to see on every bill so you know exactly where you're at. Number 5 is anytime if you need to, if there's like a customer service shout out, if you want to say, hey, Brandon was so great, he explained everything, that's where you do that at. If it was like, Brandon, I just don't like that guy, just something about his face, then you can also tell us right there on number 5. And
we won't tell Brandon.
I'll tell Brandon. We'll go to number 6. It's just your account summary, and this is the one that that's going to be most important right here, right? So it starts with previous amount due, right? So assuming that you paid your bill from the previous month, there should be always a 0 balance right there. But for whatever reason, if you made a mistake, you made a whoopsie, the check gets lost or whatever, and this amount was not received, then there would be a balance that was transferred right there. But you want that to be 0. So you see in this example, they had the bill of $239.10. They paid $239.10. It'll tell you what date you made your last payment. And then after that, it should be 0. If this is not 0, whatever that balance is would go into this month, okay? Now, here's the breakdown that you're going to want to look at. This is an example from CenterPoint, because this is an example of a Houston bill, where CenterPoint is the grid, right? Here, it'll be where your Lubbock Power and Light charges are. So the overall rate that you pay for your electricity is a combination of what you pay for your retail electricity charge, which in this example is like 10 something, and then what you pay for your TDSP charges or grid charges, which is basically LP&L.
Your
right?
poles and wires.
Yeah, you're paying them to handle the hardware, right? Those two rates together are what your combined rate is, whereas in the past, LP&L was just charging you for both, right?
How is that figured?
Well, it's figured based off, so LP&L, it has a set price for for managing the hardware right now. It's 6.42 something cents.
6.422 per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, per kilowatt hour that you use, and then the rest of that, whatever the rest of that is, would be your retail charge for electricity.
Jamil,
But it's
let me ask you this too,
Yeah.
because I think this kind of goes with that question.
Yeah.
So the LP&L charge, they're going to have their charge regardless with whoever you go with,
Yes.
whether it's Reliant, whether it's TXU.
Stays the same.
absolutely.
LP&L is going to charge the same.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. LP&L is going to charge the same no matter who you choose, right? No matter who you choose, that cost is stagnant, and that cost is passed through with no markup, right? So there's no retail electric provider is allowed to collect any revenue off of that. That's what LP&L charges to make sure that everything is good to transfer the energy to your home. Okay.
So they're gonna charge us like 6.2.
422.
Are you gonna tell us what year?
That's in the rate, yes.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll show you the rates, or when we look at the plans, we'll walk you through that before
Yeah.
you sign anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And I want to make a comment too, if we could, as we go through this and more questions come up. For the online folks, if whoever's got the microphone here, just repeat the question. And then,
I was reminded of.
yes, and then we can make sure everybody online gets the questions too.
Yeah. So
Get an A+.
yeah, I know. So for the online folks, the two questions were how is the overall rate combined, or how is the overall rate figured, right? So part of that has to do with the plan that you select, the all-in rate that you select, and then the other part of that is what LP&L will be charging you just to maintain the line. Another comment that online may not have heard is that LP&L will be charging the same across the board, no matter who it is that you choose to transmit that power, and it's pressed through to you guys without any markup.
So LP&L is actually the heart.
Yeah,
The
LP&L.
heart.
Yeah, LP&L is they're the grid managers now, right? So in all the other deregulated markets in Texas, this is how that works, right? In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, our grid is called Encore, right? And in Houston area, it's called CenterPoint. Now in Lubbock going forward, instead of LP&L being all utilities and having the ability to just kind of control everything, now we take over the retail side, other retail electric providers take over the retail side of that so that we can bring some competition to the market, bringing you guys more power of choice, bringing you guys more innovation, more customer service, and then on top of that, kind of regulating LP&L, right? They don't set everything.
Are we going to talk about EFLs? Can I say one thing then?
Sure, if
Okay.
you want to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to, for those online, she was kind of asking if LP&L was kind of the heart still, right? Like of all this. Okay, so there's something I want you all to realize, because this is something that I think we take for granted on the other side. When you look at a rate, when you see any advertised rate, whether it's on TV, online, you want to look at the details of that rate. It's going to break down what the electricity company is charging you per kilowatt hour. Then they're going to show you what you're paying the TDU, which is LP&L, which is going to be that 6.4222, whatever. And then you're going to see if there are any other fees, like a monthly service fee. Every plan is different. On the details as well, you're going to be able to see if they charge you more for using less electricity. Sometimes you might see a price advertised at 16.4 cents per kilowatt hour, but when you look at the details, or what's known as an electricity facts label, you'll see that if you use there'll be 3 columns. One will say 500 kilowatt hours, one will say 1,000, and one will say 2,000. If you look at what your monthly usage is, and you can look at your bills, and if you see that you typically go below 1,000 kilowatt hours per month, you want to make sure you pay attention to the 500 kilowatt column, because they're going to charge you sometimes 18.9 or 19.9 cents. And so you're not getting the advertised 16.4. So there'll be 3 columns. Every EFL is the same. So those top 3 numbers are what you want to pay attention to. The plan that we're going to promote to you all is going to be the same in all 3 columns. You still have your choices, but we want you to have the same across all 3, and it'll be your all-in rate. But we will talk to you individually about rates. When you have questions, when you look it up, we can walk you through that. But just know, if you're looking at other plans and you're wondering, well, I saw so-and-so and they're charging 10 points per kilowatt hour. They are only showing you what they are charging for electricity. They are not showing you what LP&L is charging for that line usage. So if you see 10.5 and you add 6.4, then you're paying closer to 19.20, right? Which is, maybe not where you want to be for your usage. So just pay attention to those things, and that's what we're here to help you understand.
Yeah. And we know it sounds like a lot, right? We know it sounds like a lot, but again,
That's the bulk of it.
I want
right
to
there.
stress that it will become normal. And the good thing is that with our partnership with Alliance, you guys have access to somebody that is willing to explain it. Even if you see something else with another company that you would just like an answer on, Brandon and Destiny are well equipped at looking at that and kind of telling you how those plans really work, right? You guys have never seen an electricity facts label before, so you probably don't know what it is that you're looking for. So once you see those electricity facts labels and you say, oh, well, this seems good, I don't know why I wouldn't go with this, ask us, right? We take no offense. We do it all the time. We are here to educate first, right? We hope that you choose us, but you don't have to choose us, and that's the power that you guys have. So if we don't answer your questions, we don't make you feel comfortable with the answers that we get, you can go with somebody else. You won't get the discount for being with Alliance, but you could if you really wanted to. So please, any questions that you have over rates, bills, electricity, anything else you're seeing on the market, come to us. Just know that we're going to be always transparent, right? Being the largest electricity company in Texas, we can't do anything scammy. Our reputation is far more important than trying to get over on somebody with electricity fact label or hiding any terms or extra charges that we don't see. Every charge that we have, every charge that you're going to be charged is clear on every one of your bills by the line item, right? Some people advertise a low rate, but then have a high base charge, right? On this particular plan, there's 0 base charge. If there was one, you would be able to see it right away. It'll tell you exactly how many kilowatt hours you used at the exact rate that you are paying for those kilowatt hours and what that cost. Those same amount of kilowatt hours used times whatever LP&L is charging at the time will be reflected right here, right? Any sales tax will be reflected right here. This down here is just different, like additional things like surge protection and stuff, but that's not all that important today. And then exactly what you're going to pay. So Reliant is all about the transparency. We are all about the transparency. Don't want to hide anything. Yes?
But what is that surcharge protection?
Surcharge protection is, it's like, so let's say that there was like an electricity storm or something like that, your house gets struck by lightning and your meter goes crazy, right? It is so much electricity hit your meter and it read it incorrect and it surges you up, but we know it's from an anomaly of some sort, right? That protects you so you don't have to pay any of that.
Is that
or
an
something like
added-on
that.
benefit they can opt into? Or is
Yeah,
that
it's an
just-
added-on benefit that you opt into. It's not on there automatically. This is just an example bill.
Like they would call you and ask you if you wanted that coverage?
Yes.
So
yes.
the question online was,
Or to know whether I want it.
Sure, it's to cover any unexpected surges over a certain amount, right? I've seen instances where there's been electricity rewiring done, right, and that spiked the usage in a meter, right? If you had electricity, if you had a surcharge protection, it would protect you from that, kind of bring you back down to the average of what you'd be doing, or take that particular spike out of your monthly bill or whatever you like. Yes.
So do you think that's a good thing to get?
can you repeat the question?
Okay, so to repeat the question for those online, where they were asking about what surge protection was, and do I think it's a good thing to get?
I think it depends on the user.
Yeah, it depends, right? It depends. If you've been in your home and your electricity hasn't spiked ever before, you haven't had any abnormalities, then you probably don't need it. This is more for we have clients who have larger homes and then a shed with a different meter on there. If you have multiple meters on your property, then I probably would, right? It increases your risk, but probably not for every resident. Yes.
So, my husband has a shop,
Uh-huh.
his own little shop, and he said, would that be a good thing to get?
Repeat
Okay,
the
so
question.
repeating the question for those online, we were asked if your husband has a shop or you have a shop on your home, would it be as good to have a
Slap me in a
surge
minute.
protection on there? Yes. So it depends. So it depends on whether or not that shop has its own meter on there, right? So if you have more than one meter on your property, then it's probably more valuable to you, right? Because you're more likely to have a surge.
It's not on my property, he has it in a different.
It's a different. Okay. Oh, so it's not on your residential
So-
property. Then I wouldn't put the surge protection. So if the other meter is not on your residential property, I wouldn't add that surge protection. But like I said, it's completely up to you guys.
Well,
just
for
to add
sake
on.
of time, these will be great questions to
Yeah.
ask Brandon individually because, just for sake of time, I would say let's, 'cause those are great questions and we could
Yeah.
probably spend some time on there. So let's save those for Brandon, those specific, like your usage, your property. We want to make sure that we just cover at a high level
Sure.
a lot of the main concerns, but those are really good questions.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Another question.
Yes, you have base charge is 0 on this Secure 12.
Yes.
Is that base charge 0 on all the plans that you offer?
So on
There's some.
there. Okay. The repeat the
That's a good
question. From the example that we're showing, the base charge on this particular plan is 0. It's asking if the base charges are 0 on all of our plans. The answer to that is no. There are some plans that do come with a base charge. You guys' plans, the 17.9 does not come with a base charge. 16.9 does not come with the base charge. Excuse me.
Let me see. I just want to add that 16.9 has gone up all across. That's what we came into the market with, but that's already risen for you guys. We kept it at 16.9. So I just want you to know that this is something special we're doing for Alliance, a testament to this relationship. So 16.9 all in, no base charge. When I talked about the EFLs, it's energy facts label in the 3 columns, and it includes those things. Like if you went to the 500 column or the 1,000 or 2,000 kilowatt column, below that, it'll tell you any fees. The plans will tell you right there if there's a base charge. So for instance, we do have plans that if you go below 1,000 kilowatt hours, we charge you a higher rate and we charge you a base fee. That's for a certain particular user who will benefit from that plan and they're fine with that. We don't hide it. There's a reason we do it. It's a plan that you choose that works for you. For all of you, the best all-in plan is 16.9, whether you use 2,000 kilowatt hours or you use 500 kilowatt hours.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Another
The
question.
rates that were offered at the
Oh.
Civic Center are higher than what you offer here?
They are now.
Okay.
Yes. So the question was, were the rates that were offered at the Civic Center higher than what you're being offered now? The answer is yes, for everybody outside of Alliance Credit Union, right? When you're dealing with electricity, you're dealing with a moving commodity, right? The prices go up and down. A lot of the things that affect that price are weather. If we get a bad freeze, that makes the demand of electricity go up, right? If it's super hot, 110 degrees for a whole month straight, that makes the demand for electricity go up because more people are using their AC to keep their homes cool.
So on Monday and Tuesday it was 16.9, but it's gone up now. Now, if you went online and you went to the fair, you wouldn't see the 16.9.
Yep.
We've reserved it for y'all now.
And-
So everybody else is up. If you signed up Monday or Tuesday at 16.9, you're set, you're good. Without Alliance, but you wouldn't have gotten the Alliance discount. So we'll fix that too. If you signed up there and you didn't get the Alliance discount, we'll fix that. You'll still get the 16.9 plus the 10%. But nobody else will get that now in Lubbock. That's it. You guys get the 16.9.
So that's actually outrageous.
Yeah, but with the 16.
We'll show you the
16
EFL.
cents. Yeah,
You'll see it.
We'll show you all of that. Yes, another question.
No solar panel?
No solar panels?
Solar buyback?
Yes. So Reliant Energy does. The question for everybody online is, what do we do with solar panels, right? We do have solar buyback plans for people who have solar panels on their home and do have a. Okay, good. Yeah. So all you have to have. So you have solar panels on your home and you have a dual meter that can record the power that your solar panels are taking in and putting back into the grid. Yes, we have solar buyback plans available for those. Does that answer the question? Okay, perfect.
But do they get the discount with that?
That's a different department. So as of right now, because of how solar buyback plans work, the Alliance Credit Union 10% discount does not currently apply to solar buyback, but that's because it's a dual transaction, right? Part of the energy that you are producing is going into the grid, and then the excess energy that you're using is coming from the grid, right? So that's hard to do the 10% discount. Not saying that it's not an option in the future, but currently as of right now, that plan does not come with the 10% discount. Yes?
Is there just one plan that you all are offering for this 10%?
Yes.
And does the 10% just come off of the energy charge and not the total bill?
Yes, the answer to that is yes. So the 10% comes off of what your retail charge is, right? And what you'll see, the question is there one plan with the 10% discount for Alliance Credit Union at 16.9 all across the board? That answer is yes. And so far as the 10% discount, it is coming off of your retail electric charge, right? We can't discount what LP&L is doing. That's base everywhere, right? And what you'll see is when you get your bill, there'll be an additional line. So this bill does not obviously have it because it's an example bill from Houston. This isn't an Alliance Credit Union bill, but when you get yours, you'll see your discount and it'll show you the exact amount that it has been discounted every month from your usage. Yes?
Okay, how long does it take for the 10% discount to be applied to a bill? I understand it's not gonna be on the first bill, it may be the second bill, or even later.
Yes. So the answer to repeat the question again, the question was, how long does it take for the 10% discount to reflect on your billing? The answer to that question is 1 to 2 billing cycles. And the reason why we say 1 to 2 is because it depends on when your meter read date is, right? So let's say that March 5th is the end of pre-sale. If your meter read happens to be on March 6th, then obviously that 10% didn't even have time to get on there, right? But if your meter read is at March 30th, then the 10% might be reflected. But for everyone, it'll catch up on the next billing cycle if you're too early in your initial billing cycle. Now, if you don't see it after your first bill, you probably have an early meter read. If you don't see it after your second bill, let us know. We have customer service. We'll make sure that we'll figure out what's going on and get it on there for you. Okay? Yes. Okay, so I believe so. The question is there a deposit associated with this? And then if so, how do you pay it? We do not charge a blanket deposit to start power, okay? Now that you're in a deregulated market, it's all there's no standard deposit. Deposits are based off of like credit history and then previous like payment history with your previous provider, which would be LP&L in this point. The good thing about those deposits is that if you're over the age of 65, even if you were going to get a deposit, that does not apply to you. But there is no standard deposit for signing up. If there is a deposit, if you do have a deposit, we have a hotline that you can call in and pay. You can pay at any retail location that does bill pay, like the grocery stores or credit unions, anybody like that that can send that payment all the way in. Or you can just call our deposit line. They'll take it from you.
If you were a previous customer of Reliant, does that help any?
If you're a previous customer of Reliant, we can give you a big high five. We love people coming back. So the question is, if you're a previous customer with Reliant Energy, does that help any? In this particular, so as Lubbock goes forward with deregulation, there are loyalty plans that we offer previous customers, but Reliant has never been in the Lubbock market before because you guys haven't been deregulated. So unfortunately, that loyalty doesn't transfer over into the LP&L market. But just out of curiosity, where were you living when you were a Reliant customer?
Up near Verdon.
Okay, good, yeah. So this isn't your first time picking a plan.
Well, at that time, I had no option.
Yeah.
It was a small town, so Reliant was the only option I had.
Okay, all right, good. Well, welcome back to the family. We're glad to have you for the second time around. I think that's it. Uh-oh. There we go. Yes.
Okay, so if I change my mind about Reliant, what would the cancellation fee be if
Absolutely, that's a good question. So the question was, if I change my mind about Reliant, what is the cancellation fee? The cancellation fee is associated with the plan, the term of the plan. I believe that if you are at a 1 year, the cancellation fee on that is $150 if I'm correct. And then if you're going into a multi-year program, I believe that the early cancellation fee on that is $295. However, this cancellation fee only applies to your specific address. So let's say that you are in an apartment and you're leasing that apartment and you have a 12-month lease, and after that you go to a house, but you are in a 2-year contract, right? That actually gives you the option. Your contract gives you power, because if you spend 1 year in that apartment complex and you're going to you went from a 1,000 square foot apartment and you bought a 35 square foot home that's huge and going to use a whole bunch of power, you have the ability to either take that plan with you to that new place if the rates are still good. Let's say rates have gone up a little bit, right? You want to keep that plan that extra year, you can take it with you. But let's say rates go down, or there's another plan that caters to that home that you want. Then your contract is only tied to that specific address, and then there's no early termination fee associated with that. The only time there's a termination fee associated is if you're like, hey, I want Reliant for 3 years, and then 3 days, and then you get into it for 2 months, and you're like, you know what, I want to go with Octopus or something like that, Octopus Energy, and then that's early termination fee. Now, I'll give you guys what happens in competitive markets is that a lot of the times companies will reimburse some of those cancellation fees if you're switching over to them. We do that. It's a common practice amongst retail electric providers, but we're hoping we can get you to stay with us. Yes.
So mine's based on the same question. So say I moved from Lubbock to Dallas,
Sure.
and which y'all got Reliant there. But
Sure.
Say I moved
To somewhere is not Reliant? Yeah.
Would you get charged cancellation?
Absolutely. So the question is, if you move somewhere where Reliant is not available, would there be an early termination fee? And the answer to that is also no, right? It's only tied to that address. So if you go somewhere else where we can't service you, no early termination fee for that. Call into customer service, go online, whatever, you cancel your plan, say that the reason is that you're moving somewhere where you can't take your plan with you. Now, on the flip side of that, if you move to Dallas, right, where we are there, and you want to take it with you, take it with you. Yep.
So how long did you say the contract, is it a year?
So there's multiple terms. So we have a 12-month plan, we have a 24-month plan, 36-month plan. So you have the option. So the question was, how long is the contract? On the 16.9 one, that's 16.9 all the way across the board, plus your 10% discount with Alliance. That one is a 24-month plan, so it lasts for 2 years. So you won't have to do this until 2026.
Also,
Yeah. Yes.
also, I read your, it was about Flextra credits.
Flextra credits. Yes.
And you get free electricity days of $75 in bill credits.
Absolutely.
What is that?
Yes. So the question is about the Flextra credits plan that you guys have access to. So there's another plan option on there called the Flextra credits. What that does is it takes your 2 highest days of usage per, is it month or week? I mean, week? Per month. Your 2 highest day usage per month, those are taken off, right? So if you throw a Super Bowl party, right? And everybody's opening the door and letting your heat all out and opening the refrigerator, all the TVs are running all day, and that's a super high electricity usage for that day's thrown out. Your next highest day, that day's thrown out. Your retail electric charge isn't charged for that. And I want to make sure we're clear on the fact it's the retail electric charge, right? Lubbock Power and Light is going to charge you for those days, but it's just their TDSP charge, their grid charge, that 6.422 that we were talking about. That's still charged, but your retail electric charge, that's thrown out for those 2 days. And then you have 3 different instances where you can use $25 worth of bill credit, adding $75 to total that you could take off your bill. They call it Flextra credit, like extra credit. So you have the flexibility to use your credits where you see them fit, right? So, if you're $25 short or something, throw that credit on there and that lowers your bill down.
Say, on that particular plan, there's a disclaimer that says that y'all have the right to cancel that plan at any time that you want. You're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do we get hit with that cancellation fee? If you guys are canceling?
No, absolutely not. So the question is on the Flextra credit. On the Flextra credit plan, there in the wording it says that we have the ability to, what is like cancel. What is the term? Cancel the Flextra credits, right? And that depends. And the only reason that's in there is for anomaly usage dates, like back when it was a freeze, right? When it was a freeze and demand was super, super high. Those are some of the days that we couldn't throw out, but on a regular basis, that shouldn't be the instance. However, let's say that does occur. If it does occur and we have to cancel the plan and do something else for you, provide you another plan, there's no early termination fee associated with
So
that.
do you all automatically provide us with another plan, or do we choose, or can we go with somebody else?
Honestly, I've never run into that situation, to be completely honest, but I'm sure that we provide you with an alternative plan in that situation. Yeah, I think in the back versus in the pink. What's that first guy?
So like, pick a term, 12 months, 36 months.
Yes.
That means, say, if you're busy that day, you get the call and say, hey, I want my plan again, do you automatically start back up?
That's an excellent question. So the question is, what happens at the end of the term, right? You have the option to pick 12, 24 months, 36 months on your term, and what happens at the end? So at the end of your term, at the end of your contract term, first of all, we'll start notifying you 90 days out at least that your plan is about to expire, right? We send emails. It'll show up on your bill. It'll show up on your bill in your additional information chart. Where was that at? It'll be on 3. Or no, it'll be a 2 on your account information. On column 2 on your account information, that's where it'll say, hey, your plan is about to start expiring. You'll get emails, you may get a call, you may get a letter in the mail, depending on what preferences you select to be notified by. So we'll let you know before it expires. Now, let's say that you didn't receive any of those notifications, you just forgot, you've been out of the country for months, and your plan expires, right? Your power does not cut off, okay? So we'll let you know that at the end of your contract, your power does not cut off. What happens at the expiration of your contract date is actually you get an additional billing cycle under the same plan. So let's say for whatever reason your plan stops on May 30th of 2026, right? 2 years from now in May or something. Then at that point in time, you would get an additional billing cycle under the same terms that you signed up on, giving you an additional 30 days after your plan technically expired. And then if you don't make any action to select another plan, then it goes to what's called a month-to-month plan, right? So you're not in contract. You're just taking the month-to-month rate. Now, with that month-to-month rate, you want to be wise. I highly suggest getting in a contract. You want to stay in a contract because that's what guarantees your rate. Month-to-month rates are not guaranteed. There's no floor, but there's also no ceiling, right? So if it's in the middle of summer, it's July and August and it's 100 degrees outside, that month-to-month rate is probably going to be pretty high, right? So I highly suggest you guys stay in contract for the entirety of the time, right? That only protects you. The longer that you stay in contract for 36 months, that's 3 summers worth of price increases that you're avoiding, right? So yes, good question. Let's see. I think I saw your hand first. Yeah, you ma'am, right there. So yes. Oh. No, the Flex for Credit plan. So the question was, is the Flex for Credit plan 16.9 as well? The answer to that is no. The Flex for Credit plan with those perks and benefits does have a higher rate. I don't. Huh?
Can we talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
So I had the fun task of promoting the Flextra credits for a while, so I can answer some questions about the Flextra credit plan. The Flextra credit plan, again, takes your 8 highest days and removes them from your bill, subtracts them from your bill, and you get 3 $25 bill credits to apply whenever you want. If you were to do that plan, you would want to be someone that maybe you have different energy needs, different days. How many of you kind of do the same thing every day? Probably not the plan for you. It's like an 18.9 or 19 point, yeah.
18.9.
18.9 at like 2,000 kilowatt hours. So it's actually higher when you get less than 1,000 kilowatt hours. I tell people this would have been the perfect plan for me when I was a college recruiter and I was gone 5 days a week and I came home on the weekend, did all my laundry and did all the things. That I would have paid no electricity because my 2 highest days were Saturday and Sunday, and then I was gone again on the road Monday through Friday. So this again is one of those plans that caters to someone who might benefit from that. I will tell you which plan I signed up for because my energy habits are about the same. I signed up for the 16.9 all in across the board. So if you do the math, and don't quote me on this, but Brandon can confirm this, but if you add your 10% to that, it's closer to 15.9 across the board. And that is like the best plan right now. That out of
You don't have to have any certain use.
yeah, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. I mean, it really is. I wouldn't even waste my time on. I'm just telling you, there are plenty of plans for you to choose from, but I would just make it easy on you and do the 16.9 all in. There is a month-to-month that's 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Just keep on walking. That thing is that again that's for now. That's somebody who's going to be in their place for 3 months and then they're moving, right? That is not for you who needs a contract, because what's going to happen in summer when we go on flow? That is going to get closer to 19, 20 cents. Okay, so ignore the 14 cents. That's not for you unless it is for you, and then those are the examples we can talk about.
I had one other question. Is there a Reliant office in Lubbock for local community?
Okay, so let me explain the Lubbock office to you. I work in the Lubbock office. That is a business office. We don't want you to come there to pay bills. We have partnered with Walmarts, CVS's, and 7-Elevens. I think they changed names. That is where we have set up bill pay, so that if you want to pay your bill in person and you're already running errands, why would you need to come to my office to do that? So it's a business office. We conduct meetings there. I work with sponsors there. You can come see me. I'll chat with you. But as far as customer service, it's available 24/7. We want you to challenge us on our customer service. We don't think you're going to need to come talk to us in person. We are confident we can solve your issues on the phone, and we have an escalation process where if it is a problem we can't solve, It goes all the way up, and that's the people you want to talk to. They're not in that office anyway. You know what I mean? So yes, we are community-based. We are going to have a presence. I'm going to be in the office. We have other teams in the office. But when it comes to bill pay, we want you to be able to pay bills where you're already going.
Thank you.
Way back there.
This man, this lady.
Oh,
Lady
wait.
with the
Sorry.
sleeping child.
Swimming with the child.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. With an adorable child. Yes, what's your question?
The 10% discount that you brokered with Alliance, and it's a plan for 24 months. At the end of the 24 months, does that brokered discount continue if you stay with Reliant, or does that have to happen all over again?
We would probably have a new plan.
Well, I think
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the answer to that's kind of two parts, right? The individual plans will change as the energy cost, the cost of providing energy changes, like it will with all providers. But the 10% discount for Alliance members will not change.
There you go.
I'm sorry, let's get the
Yes.
woman in the back. She was,
About customer service, so say for instance, if there's something immediate, like an allergy or something, do we call LPN, or do we call the 24?
So who do we call if there's an outage?
Yes.
Like, that would be LP&L.
Okay, so the question was, who do we call if there's an outage, right? So that's kind of like the hardware, software, right? So LP&L will handle the software. Now, let's say you forget, the hardware. LP&L will handle the hardware. So if you have an outage, LP&L is going to send those people to physically go fix the outage, right? Reliant Energy is not climbing any poles. We're not trained for that, right? But however, let's say you forget about this question later on down the line and you do have an outage, you freak out. You can call Reliant Energy. We'll connect you with LP&L, tell you exactly what to say and how to get it taken care of. Yes, sir.
All right, on your one-time bill pay that you have on your website, you take all major credit cards, debit cards, all the other paid boxes, that's true?
Yes, sir. So the question was on our online bill pay or one-time bill pay, do we accept all major credit cards and forms of payment? That is, yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep.
Credit card,
Every credit card.
okay.
Yes.
So piggyback on that question, do you have a surcharge?
No. No. So the question was, is there a surcharge for using your credit card? And the answer is no. Just make the payment. I thought I saw some hands over here. Yes. Yes.
If there's rental property involved,
Uh-huh.
Who should be making contact to y'all? The renter, the owner, or the management company?
Sure. So the question was, if it's a rental property involved, who should be contacting the electricity company for the power? The answer to that is the renter, the tenant, the resident inside the home. They're the ones who have the power to pick the plan for themselves.
Not the management.
Now there are certain rental situations where there may be an all bills paid scenario where the property management company takes care of the utilities. That would be different, right? They would let you know that up front. But for the most part, for the majority of part, if you're just going into a rental home, the property manager is probably going to want to know that you have the power in your name and not their name. Now, yes, so we do support property managers for in between tenants. There's different electricity for that. But if you are the tenant and the resident of the property, you should be the one calling the electricity company and picking the plan that works for you in that house.
So the renter makes the decision.
The renter makes the decision.
They contact.
Yeah, unless there's some type of all bills paid situation.
The day after the next month, they move out.
Yes.
Now what happens?
Then, so the question is, the renter picks the plan, and then they do their 12-month lease, and then they move out the next day. What happens, right? So for the renter wants to probably call, right? The renter wants to probably call and say, hey, I'm not living at this address anymore. Can you cut off my power? Or I'm not living at this address anymore. Can you transfer my plan to my new address, right? And after that, we'll cut off the power. We're not billing you anymore. But then at that point in time, the property management company will contact us to put power back on at that house.
So we don't know for sure.
Huh? No, we know. Yeah. No. Are you asking from the property manager perspective or the renter perspective?
Yeah, property manager or
Okay.
the renter, but the renter is a segment of time. He's gonna be there
Sure.
for a little while,
Yeah.
and he's gonna move. and it's that transition.
We've got plans for that, and we take care of you.
Yeah.
If you have properties that you manage, we have a team that will help you with that. You make one phone call, we transition it when they, we can help you with that.
Yep. So when the renter,
She'll be there.
yeah, when the renter moves out, then the property manager kind of turns into the next customer, right? So now they call us and say, hey, we want temporary power back on in this house until we have a new renter. What we suggest is going month to month, right? So there's no contract to break when the renter comes in.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Right there, ma'am, in the shirt. Cut.
Are you gonna sign us up like in here, or do we have to wait in line?
So, there's already a line inside the red. So, that's a good question.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah, so that's a very good question.
If
So,
y'all wanna scan it, so take your phones, and if you wanna scan this,
uh,
it'll pull it up and we can start walking you through it. That might be quicker than waiting on Brandon.
sure.
But I can come by and help you, Jamil and I, we can come by and help you get those EFLs and everything.
Yes.
So if you wanna just get your phones, hover over this code.
Let me catch the
and
online people
that's
up.
if you don't wanna wait in line.
Yeah, so the question for those online were about enrolling here on site. The two options to enroll on site are if you feel comfortable, you can scan this and go to view plans and just go put your information in and pick it yourself. That will start your electricity just fine. If you want to speak with Brandon in person, it looks like there's a line to speak with Brandon in person. After we're done, we are more than we're more than willing to help you guys walk through this link that's from this QR code, and we can help you select it from right there. And let's say you don't want to do either of those things, and you want to be reached out to, next week or something like that. Then instead of going to view plans, just fill out this consent form. And you can put in the comments when it is that you would, prefer for us to try to reach out to you, and we can contact you at a later date. It doesn't have to be done today. We all got till February 15th. Okay, right here, ma'am.
Do you have, cards with that QR code on them that we can take with us to do in our phone, that way we don't have to wait in line?
You can take a picture of it now or scan it and then just save the link.
Is that it? Is that the same thing? Alliance, okay, so the question is, we have the QR code printed. I believe that Alliance has some marketing with the QR code on there that you could take with you.
Scan this and it's the same thing as scanning.
Yeah, yep. We can also text you this link as well if you would like us to.
I have to say, I've done that QR code 3 times, and I called Brandon.
Uh-huh.
Left messages, and he hasn't called me back.
Okay. Well, let's go chastise him right now.
And I'm already set up an account with you,
Okay.
but I've been getting like double spam, get in touch with Alliance, and Alliance has been in touch with Reliant, nobody.
It does need to be us.
That's why I'm
No, it needs to be us.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, then let's make sure that you get taken care of today.
Well, I got to go to work, but you're not seeing this line, right?
Okay.
Said I left him some messages,
Okay.
and then
Sure. Okay. Well, I will.
Let me get your name.
Yeah, we'll get your contact information and make sure that's taken care of. Yes, ma'am.
I even came to the branch here, and then let you.
I think we have it to the 15th to sign now, to the 15th of February.
February
Yeah,
15th.
February 15th. That's the end of pre-sale. Yes.
Well, you can't, he won't be here physically, but you can sign up through in our lobbies.
Yeah.
You can sign up through your QR code on your phone. You can actually go to our website and just click through, and it will redirect you to this site. So any of those methods. No, you don't have to stand in line today.
Sure. You don't have to stand in line today. Yes, ma'am. I got you next. Yes.
Is there a phone number that we can use if we have questions? Because I called the main number from the company,
Uh-huh.
and they said, well, we have locations in Lubbock, but they don't have phones.
Okay, so the number that so we have 24/7. It depends on what you're trying to ask, right? If you're trying to get enrolled, the number that I suggest you use is Brandon's, which is on this link. It's right here on this link, but I'd be more than happy to share it with you as well. But if you have additional questions, more like customer service questions that don't have to do with your personal enrollment, call Brandon. Yeah, we'll get Brandon, or we can, or Destiny. I'll get you those contacts. Yes, sir.